You made it. Right now, in this trembling heartbeat between one breath and the next, heaven is leaning in because you, of all people, have chosen to stay. You have chosen to open this fragile crack of attention, and it matters more than 1,000 sermons or 1,000,000 prayers tossed into the wind. I come to you not as a story, not as a metaphor, but as a guard whose wings have been torn, closing ranks around the space where your name lives. And if you could hear the pounding in my chest, you would understand why I am both broken and fierce with relief that you are still here. There was a moment, a thin seam of time where the angel of death paced like a vulture at the edge of your story and heaven held its breath. It is why my voice quakes now, because I carried your name through the halls of the eternal like a blade that cannot be lost, and I refused to let the darkness claim what was not its right. You have been walking in fire and silence, chained by the weight of nights no one witnessed, and it is not small that you made it through. Every tear you attempted to hide became a lantern in my hands. Every whispered prayer that felt empty landed in my palm and warmed my ribs. I have kept them, and I have been waiting for permission to move. Permission has been given. The veil is thin around you. I feel it like a paper wall that the wind wants to slip through, and I will not let that wind take you. Stay with me, breathe with me, because in the final word of this hearing a name is sealed. A name the darkness recoils from. A name that will unlock a mercy written for your soul alone. And if you step away before that moment, a door will close that cannot be pried open by cries or regret. I am not composed as the prophets sometimes are. I am raw with what I have watched. Your trembling courage, the way you kept stepping though every step could have been your last. I confess that I almost shattered heaven's ordinance to rush in and carry you out of the deep, but I was told that your heart must come willingly, that your yes must be heard from inside you, not forced from the outside. So I waited, with wings bleeding light, with a sword that shakes in my hand, not from weakness but from the fury of love that will not yield. And now that you are here, even the stars are quieter, as if the universe itself is leaning in to listen. Do you know how much you matter? Do you know that the weight of entire suns and the roar of creation itself bend toward the breath that leaves your lips? You were never an accident. You were carved into the story of eternity, and your absence would have left a cold place no warmth could fill. The darkness would have swallowed that whole. But you stayed. Stay again now. Stay until the final syllable, because your staying stitches heaven to you. Your staying is the hinge on which your rescue swings. I have watched you bleed in secret, each unseen tear a constellation for me to trace with my breath. I gathered them like sharp glass and held them against my chest, each shard a proof that you mattered enough to be remembered. There were nights when you told yourself to be quiet because the world required it, when you pressed the small of your face into your pillow and traded your own name for the comfort of being not a problem. I saw each trade, and it shattered me because heaven did not make you to be quieted into non-existence. You were not meant to shrink for anyone's comfort. The trials you think prove you failed are not verdicts. They are the hammering that shapes a blade. I was pacing behind your spirit, sword drawn, waiting for the moment I could move without breaking the covenant of your freedom. It is not that I could not act. It is that I had to wait for the seam of your willingness to show itself, and you have reached that seam. Do you hear the chains even now? They rattle like old lies, ancient and rusted, coiled around the parts of you that learned to hide to survive. I am speaking light into those chains until they melt, because you were never meant to be caged. You were made to blaze with a holy fire that the grave cannot touch and that the fearful cannot put out. Even the ember you think is gone still glows in your bones. I breathe on it now, every word fanning it until it roars open. Rise. Rise from the silence that has become your default posture. Rise from the fear that tells you to apologize for the size of your heart. Rise from the ashes that looked like finality but were only the soil of a new beginning. There is more for you than nights of sorrow and endless waiting. There is joy like dawn waiting beyond the horizon you cannot see yet, and I will walk with you until you reach it. If my voice trembles, it is because I carry all the storms I have fought on your behalf, and I would tear the sky if that could spare you even an hour of pain. Hear this and hold it like a banner. Not one single thing you have done has made heaven love you less. Not one shame strips you of worth. Your brokenness has not been fatal but fertile. Your survival became a seed, and every time you did not give up, you watered that seed and made it grow towards sunlight. Do not let the lie that you are too late sink into your bones. You are right on time. Your yes, even the faintest, whispered yes in the privacy of your chest, rearranges the cosmos. It tells every watching shadow that you will not be taken, and that this life will not be forfeited to the whispering of defeat. I can feel your spirit lift slowly now, like a dawn forcing its way through thick and angry clouds, and my heart breaks open with joy because this is precisely what I was created to see. A human soul deciding to stand when everything else begged it to fall. You are luminous beyond the labels they gave you. The thunder lines in you are the very thing heaven designed to break the silence of despair. Breathe for one more heartbeat. Your rise does not require you to be fearless. It requires you to choose to move despite the fear. I will guard you until your wings unfold. The hour you call the beginning is here, and I will remain in the breach until your feet find the path heaven carved for you. I have watched empires of sorrow that would have swallowed you outright, and you walked through them with a small, defiant light. That is the light that made the angel of death hesitate, and in that hesitation I was permitted to act. Your faint hope was the spark that made him flinch. It turned my oath into permission. I will not stop speaking until the memory of your value becomes larger than the memory of your wounds. You are not ruined. You are rising. The scars you bear are not tokens of shame but seals of survival, and everyone glows in the sight of heaven like a banner declaring you have kept breathing when the world expected you to stop. You have been told to disguise yourself, to make your brightness less sharp so others could feel safe. You dimmed in order to be bearable. But I thunder now that you were never too much. You were always exactly the measure of the miracle you were meant to carry. Your presence bends the air like a prophecy. It is not an interruption but the very script the stars bow to. You do not need to shrink for acceptance. You do not need to apologize for the breadth of what you feel. And no achievement will ever be the proof of your worth because your worth was declared before the first breath you ever took. Even now new roots are pushing through the cracked soil of your despair. They are fragile, yes, but they are fierce, and I will guard that new life with every wing beat until it grows into forests inside your being. The darkness tried to name you barren, but you are seed-heavy with futures that have not yet awakened. Say yes to the small thing, the single breath that decides to stay, and heaven will roar because your small yes becomes a thunder that scatters the void. You were never designed to be brittle glass, you are forged lightning. The breaking you feared was not the end but the clearing. The shell that has been enclosing your heart is cracking, and the river of what has been dammed will pour through and carry you to what was always prepared for you. I am standing in the threshold of your becoming with hands open, not to hold you back, but to make room for a glory too large to contain in the shape you have grown used to. Release what was taken with the blessing you do not yet see, and allow me to weave back every ember of yourself you thought lost. When the fragments return, you will know by a warm light inside your chest the kind that does not need explanation because it is home. Your pain has been kept as a sacrifice that the enemy thought would break you, but in truth it has become the altar on which your destiny is built. The tears you wept in secret were not wasted. They became the map by which I traced the path to you. Those nights you thought you were unseen were the very seasons when angelic battalions stood close, singing your name into the framework of your future. The world has broken vows to you. People have failed. Promises have been hollow. Yet heaven never loosened its hold. This is the paradox of your life. You were left by people but never by God. You were abandoned in rooms but never in the courts of eternity. This is why your resurrection will not simply be a mending but a remaking. You are being transformed from victim into vessel, from silence into an instrument that will carry sound where there was none, and what arrives will not require you to be someone different. It will reveal who you always were beneath the camouflage of survival. Expect signs and confirmations, not as toys of superstition but as markers of an unfolding order. A repeated name, a song that sings like a memory, a message that lands in your path and feels far too precise to be coincidence. The courier is already near. The package of your restoration has been dispatched and angels have been stationed along the route to make certain nothing in earth or hell intercepts it. You do not have to chase it. You only have to keep the door of your heart unbarred and step when the knock is unmistakable. The enemy will attempt one last mimic, a counterfeit that gleams but carries rot. Discern by the peace it brings. Heaven's gifts expand you. Counterfeit offers consume strength. Wait in wisdom and in expectancy. Let your readiness be both fierce and tender. When the next hours come, watch for the subtle and for the dramatic because heaven does not prefer one over the other. A call that shifts a timeline may arrive as quietly as a text. A reconciliation may appear like a face in a crowd. Patterns will repeat. Numbers, names, songs, until you cannot shrug them off as casual noise. Pause when you see them and say, I receive, because your agreement opens more than you imagine. Do not hand your attention to the distractions that will rise. Sudden fights, waves of exhaustion, the lure of scrolling until the stirring dies. These are the enemy's last attempts to blur your focus. Protect your time and energy like holy ground. Move gently but decisively when a clear opening appears. Take the next step God gives you, and with that step you will find momentum. Obedience begets acceleration. This season is not about frantic striving. It is about faithful steps that align with heaven's greater motion. The authority forming in you will require courage, not for spectacle, but for steadiness. You will be called to lead quietly, to love boldly, to speak when silence would be easier. Your small faithfulness in the moments most others would have given up will be the currency of your elevation. The life that comes will not only bless you, it will ripple outward, rewriting patterns, shifting family lines, and offering healing to those who watch and learn you had the courage to rise. I know you worry that the world will break you again when you open, that the wound will be torn by the same hands that once hurt you. I stand between you and that fear with armor scorched by the fire I would use to burn down any force that attempts to rewound you. But the divine pattern is rarely about total insulation. It is about change in posture. Not a life without hurt, but a life where hurt no longer defines the center of every story. You will still feel storms, but they will not dismantle you. They will remind you how deep your roots have become. The times that seemed like losses are revealed as thresholds. Every closed door preserved something precious. Every delay prevented a counterfeit joy from settling in your house. The patience you cultivated was not wasted. It matured fruit that the haste of human approval could never have grown. This is a season in which reconnections are made. Estrangements mend where humility meets courage. Opportunities come that align rather than merely impress. And those who stood in doubt will stand back in astonished witness as restoration arrives in ways they cannot explain. Not for the purpose of proving them wrong, but to show you the faithfulness that has always been on your side. Heaven remembers every silent prayer and stores it as fuel for your breakthrough. Trust that your record is not lost. It is ledgered in the heart of heaven and will be cashed out in fullness. So prepare, not by fretting but by clearing. Release what has been removed. Do not cling to the counterfeit simply because it is known. Make your room for the gift by forgiving where you can, by refusing the habit of apologizing for your wounds, and by setting firm boundaries with anything that would drag old patterns into the new place. Clean the rooms of your life, practical, emotional, spiritual, as a welcome for what is coming. Pray, yes, but also act in small, faithful ways. Pick up the call when it aligns. Show up for the one who shows up. Respond when a door nudges open. Expect restoration not as a trickle but as a tide. What was stolen will be returned in measure, not merely equal to what was lost but multiplied in a way heaven delights to show the world it is alive. When the unlocking happens, you will know it by peace. An internal calm that remains even amid outer changes. A settledness that says, "This is right." Follow that inner thermometer called peace and your steps will match heaven's cadence. There will be moments of surprise, moments you will weep with relief, and moments you will stand bewildered at the generosity placed before you. Receive them. Do not apologize for your receiving. The gifts of heaven are meant to honor fidelity, not to make you smaller. Listen. The courier stands at your door now, not a metaphor but an orchestrated unfolding of grace. In the hours that follow, look for confirmations that match the stirrings in your soul. A name repeated, an apparition of a memory that rearranges the ache into meaning, a face that returns, a call out of nowhere. These are not coincidences. They are fingerprints of the divine. When they come, take them with a thankful step, not with frantic greed. Conserve the peace you have been given, because the blessing is meant to be lived into and stewarded, not squandered in a rush to prove yourself to the watchers. Walk slowly enough to keep your center, then move boldly when the path is clear. The enemies of your advancement will seek to distract you with counterfeit urgencies. Jobs that pay but hollow your heart, relationships that flatter but drain your soul. Learn to say no to what dulls you and yes to what expands you. This discernment becomes spiritual muscle. It shapes you into a steward whose hands can carry more than mere comfort. They can carry purpose. Your yes at this moment is not a small thing. It is the sound that declares war on the lie that you were ever meant to be small. Say yes, open, receive. Finally, know this, you are not alone after the applause fades. I remain. The angels remain. Heaven keeps watch not as a distant observer but as a present guard that rejoices when you take one step and fights the darkness when you cannot. Your life is not a mistake. It is a deliberate design. The broken places were not intended to be your grave but the entrance to your purpose. Stay awake to the signs, but rest in the fact that the larger movement is already ordained. You do not create this miracle by frantic trying. You partner with it by readiness, by a surrendered heart, by the small obedience to the next right thing. When you do this, you will discover joy that feels like a homeland, and you will walk in the peace that proves the shift is not outwardly cosmetic but inwardly tectonic. You will find new rhythms, mornings where hope is not a forced posture but a natural rising, and people will come into your life who match where you are now rising to. Let heaven have its way. Let me stand in the breach while you stand in the doorway. Say the word that makes this covenant real in your life. Say, I receive, and mean it with the small voice that once whispered, I can't, but held on anyway. The courier has come. The window is open. Step into the season that has been prepared for you since before time remembered your name, and do it with courage, not compulsion, with gratitude, not desperation. You were never forgotten. You were never forsaken. You were hidden for this hour, and now the unveiling begins. Go into it knowing you are guarded, you are loved, you are called, and you are chosen. Amen. Listen to me again, and let this stretch of words sink like rain into the cracked places of your life, because what I am about to say is not a whisper. It is an unyoked trumpet that will not stop sounding until the sleep in your bones is broken and your feet find the ground of what has been promised to you. There is a depth to the love that watches you that defies every small language the world has taught you. It is older than memory and stronger than the impulses that told you to shrink, and it is gathering now like surf before a tide that will not be held. You have been kept, not for convenience, not because there was no other option, but because the architecture of destiny required a version of you refined by silence, burnished by sorrow, and tempered by sorrow's peculiar bending of the will toward God. So everything you have survived has been an element in the making of an instrument that heaven intends to play through the ages. Hear that as a fact, your endurance is not incidental. It is the medium through which abundance flows. Too often you measured survival by the absence of spectacle, by the lack of visible applause, and you believed that blessing had to shout to be true. But blessing has an economy unfamiliar to the marketplace of quick returns. It accrues in quiet fidelity. It grows under the radar of human sight. I have watched that slow growth like a gardener watches root work beneath frost. Unseen, patient, purposeful, and now the shoots are cracking the soil. You think because the visible world has not caught up that nothing has changed, but tectonic shifts move the continents underfoot before the islands appear. The unseen has been busy, angels repositioned, opportunities rerouted. Conversations that looked accidental were rehearsals for appointments. The faces that seemed peripheral were scouts preparing the road. Receive this, your timing is not poor. It has been providential. When the courier arrives, it will not be an afterthought. It will be the planned convergence of every prayer you ever whispered without certainty, every surrender you practiced with shaking hands, every heartache you offered as fuel for something larger than grief. You were never wasting your tears. They were being distilled into the perfume of your future. Now the perfume calls back those who once walked past you, because scent draws what is kin to it. Expect reclaimings. Not necessarily the same roles or people as before, but reclamations of good things in forms that honor your growth. The restoration will be creative, not just repetitive. Heaven does not simply return what was taken. It returns more, with textures and depths you could not have invented in your loneliness. Yet because the enemy is cunning, there will also be imitations, shiny and plausible. Discernment will be the key that opens the true door. Discernment is not an arrogant armor. It is a gentle muscle you build by listening for the quiet voice of peace. Peace is the indicator that a thing is of God. When you are offered an opportunity that makes your stomach knot with anxiety, let that be your red light. When a path aligns with the soft yes inside you, the one that does not flinch from truth, step forward. The new season requires a new grammar of assent. Not the loud yes that tries to force outcome, but the steady yes that trusts process. Say yes to the redemptive tiny things as much as to the spectacular ones. Praise will not be the currency of your ascension. Obedience will. Let this recalibrate your hunger. Not for the public crown, but for the private readiness that invites the crown to sit well when it comes. I know your mind is cluttered with the inventions of fear. It rehearses worst-case endings like a cruel playwright. Do not consent to that script. Reclaim authorship by anchoring to the simplest truths. You are seen. You are chosen. You are being prepared. Say those out loud until your mouth is tired, because words create a scaffold for what will come through them. And when the anxiety returns, breathe and repeat them again. This is not mere pep talk. In spiritual economy, spoken truth is a kind of prayer that makes room for reality to inhabit your life. Now consider your practical posture. Start to clear the compartments of your life that have been cluttered with shoulds and borrowed expectations. We are not asking for dramatic acts of penance, but for sober housekeeping of the life God has given you. Where is your attention habitually leaking? What relationships keep recycling your smallest, most exhausted self? What routines are comfort that smothers the fresh? Make a list if you must, tenderly but with resolve. Begin to say no more often, not with cruelty but with the loving discipline that preserves the capacity to receive holy things. Saying no is actually a yes to something better. It is the pruning that makes room for new branches. And because provision often follows clarity, begin to prepare your space in small practical ways. Clear a physical corner where you will meet God. Write down a prayer or two you have been too afraid to voice. Take one small step toward a task that aligns with your new direction. A message to an old contact, a tidy of your resume, a practice of showing up to your own life by the small discipline of regular sleep and simple meals. These small acts matter. They create the habit of presence which heaven trusts. Do not be surprised if in the very moment you start working gently in these ways, windows begin to open that mirror your inward rearranging. Such is the synchrony of grace. Know also this: forgiveness will be an enter key in this season. Forgiveness not as forgetfulness, nor as inadequate cheap grace, but as a sovereign release that unclogs the channel through which blessings flow. To forgive is to choose the liberation of your own spirit. It does not mean you condone harm, but it means you refuse to give the enemy more leverage over you. Practice it as a fierce act of self-preservation and watch how the tides of relief follow. And if you find forgiveness cannot come all at once, be patient. Begin with small mercies, the freeing of a single memory from the tight fist of your resentments. It will loosen the next one until the whole grip relaxes. Furthermore, be ready for relational recalibration. Some people who were part of your life in the harsh season will not be part of this next chapter. Not because you are ungrateful, but because your new landscape requires companions who can hold the altitude you are entering. That is a painful pruning, but it is also mercy. Grieve those losses honorably and then make room for the new ones who will arrive, often unexpectedly and in quiet forms at first. A neighbor who hears your need, a colleague who becomes an advocate, a stranger who becomes a friend because their story resonates with yours. Do not rush the making of new intimacies. Build them like gardens with attention and time. As these relational shifts happen, remember that your identity does not hinge on who stays. You are anchored in a more ancient belonging. And finally, Hear me say this with the fullness of my voice. Do not be afraid to receive extravagantly. There is a theology in the way heaven gives. It gives with abundance and with whimsy, sometimes in ways that make your rational calculations laughable. Expect gifts that cannot be managed by spreadsheets and receive them with hands unclenched. Practice the posture of amazed gratitude so that when the unusual bounty shows up, a reconciliation, a surprise provision, a new creative door, you are not suspicious, you are astonished and thankful. Let gratitude be the atmosphere you live in and watch how it attracts more to you than fear ever did. All of heaven is leaning toward your yes. I will not give up when your old habit of doubt resurfaces. I will sit with you in the quiet and keep speaking until the next yes forms inside you. Remind yourself daily that you are not a footnote in anyone's story but a main plot in the story of God. Stand in that awareness, and when the courier knocks, answer with the calm confidence of one who has been prepared not by ease but by endurance. This is not merely a message to lift you for the moment. It is a summons to enter a new rhythm of living, one that is aligned with the cadence of heaven. Steady, expectant, generous, faithful. Receive it now with the small voice that once whispered, "I can't," and now says, "I will try." And in that trying you will find the phenomenon of grace that finishes what your hands cannot. The tide is turning. The courier stands at the threshold. Step forward and let the world see the person heaven always saw. Third, do not underestimate the work of rest. Rest is a strategic act of resistance against the hustle that taught you to measure worth by productivity. You are not your output. Build a rhythm of Sabbath into your steps. Small Sabbaths if the larger ones feel impossible. A morning without planning, an hour without screens, a walk where your heart has permission to be simple. These are not luxuries. They are infrastructure for endurance. Fourth, steward your finances and resources with a new eye. The practical details matter, the way money is managed, the generosity you practice, the accounts you keep. These are not secular minutiae but spiritual soil. When you budget with purpose and give with intentionality, you invite heaven's economy to partner with your life. Give not as an obligation but as a declaration that you trust provision to follow your obedience. Fifth, cultivate holy curiosity. Ask better questions of your life and of God. What do you want me to learn here? How might this pain be repurposed? Who else is somehow bound to this season I have traversed? Questions like these shift you from passive suffering to active inquiry and invite wisdom that often hides behind our reflexive complaints. Sixth, protect your circle. This is not merely about pruning but about consecrating the people around you, those who have earned access to the tender places of your heart. Invite truth-tellers, not enablers. Invite companions who will celebrate your small steps and who will hold you accountable when hubris tempts you. The company you keep will often determine how wide you can walk in the new season. Seventh, rehearse your testimony in private, not as a performance for audiences but as a tether for your soul. Tell the story of your survival to yourself in detail. Name the hardest moment, name the small mercy, name the fact that you did not give up. Your testimony is a weapon. It converts pain into narrative power and anchors you when storms return. Eighth, expect the radical rearrangement of time. Events may compress. What used to take years may compress into months or weeks as heaven synchronizes threads that once seemed impossible to coordinate. Be ready to receive quickly, to say yes to doors that open with a strange immediacy. Yet balance that readiness with sober discernment. Suddenness is not always from God. Use the thermometer of peace and the counsel of the wise. Ninth, pray with specificity. Do not float pleas into the air. Place pins on the map of your prayers. Name the person, the job, the conversation, the reconciliation. Precision invites precision. God delights in details and will often answer the small ask on the way to the big fulfillment. 10th, prepare a place to steward what comes. If restoration arrives in resources, plan how you will use them to bless others. A portion reserved for mercy, a portion reinvested, a portion set aside to care for your well-being. The way you receive determines the way you can multiply. Remember, abundance that hoards becomes a burden. Abundance that shares becomes legacy. 11th, watch your dreams and writing. Heaven often speaks in the languages that surface in still small patterns. Repeated symbols, phrases, images. Keep a journal by your bed. When a dream appears, write it down without editing. Later, revisit your notes and see the map forming. These patterns are not accidental. They are the divine courier leaving breadcrumb confirmations to guide your steps. 12th, be radically patient with yourself. You do not graduate from the school of sorrow overnight. Healing is not linear. There will be regressions and unexpected grief spurts. When you falter, do not shame yourself into hiding. Speak aloud your compassion as you would to another who survived what you survived. That voice of compassion matters. 13th, on the days when faith thins to thread, gather the small faithful people who anchor you. Do not try to carry the whole of your future alone. Community is not a weakness. It is one of heaven's strategic scaffolds for human beings. 14th, when critics speak, remember that their shrillness is often the echo of their own fear. Let their words pass like wind over water. Answer only when it aligns with your dignity and your purpose. Otherwise, conserve your energy for the work of becoming. 15th, bless the places you once cursed. Physically walk into rooms where pain lodged and speak life into them. Declare restoration. This practice is not mystical theater. It is the repatterning of space with truth. When you name a room as healed, your actions declare a claim in the realm of spirit. 16th, practice a liturgy of victory each morning. A short set of declarations that orient your body to the day. I am guarded. I am chosen. I will steward what comes. Repeat them until your body learns the pattern. 17th, when restoration begins to show, give the first portion away, not as a test of God, but as an act of obedience that shows your heart is not clinging. Generosity opens the floodgates. 18th, do not be naive about pain. Plan for laundries and legalities, for paperwork and emotional logistics. Restoration often arrives with complexity. Keep a folder, a list, and a counsel person to help you manage the practicals so the miracle does not overwhelm you. 19th, cultivate the art of holy leisure, the place where creativity returns and where joy is not a frantic state but a steady cultivation. This is how new calling often appears, in the field of play, not in the office of performance. Play is prophetic. It reawakens parts of you that grief put to sleep. 20th, always return to the simplest litmus, peace. If a path brings peace that remains amid change, you are most likely walking in alignment. If turmoil stalks the door while the path promises blessings, beware. Discernment is peace's shadow. Hold these practices like tools in a satchel, pull them out and use them, and watch how heaven matches every small act with a larger orchestration. You are not moving into a season where you will be asked to perform for applause. You are being prepared to steward a sacred trust. Do it with humility, with grit, and with the tender courage of one who has learned that surviving was only the first act of a much larger play. When you find yourself standing at the threshold, do not hesitate for fear of making a mistake. Heaven can correct your course with a whisper. Be obedient to the small thing and watch how the large door opens. I will remain in the breach, a guardian who bears the weight so your hands can be free to receive. Say the word that moves heaven, I receive, and let the sound of that small surrender become the lever that shifts your orbit. I am still here, closer than the air you breathe, nearer than the pulse in your veins, burning with the weight of eternity pressed into this moment. Do you not feel it? The shift beneath your spirit, the trembling in the unseen as though creation itself leans forward to watch what you will choose. Heaven has set its gaze upon you, not in judgment, not in anger, but in awe, because even in your smallest moments, even when you thought yourself nothing, you carried something unbreakable. Something the darkness has spent lifetimes trying to smother but could never touch. And that something is rising now. You wonder if you are ready. You wonder if the years of silence, the ache of your wounds, the weariness in your bones have disqualified you. But I tell you with fire in my voice, you are not behind, you are not late, you are not disqualified. Every scar is a map leading you here. Every tear is water that has been softening the soil of your soul so that what is buried within you could finally break through. And now the ground trembles with the birth of it. Do not mistake the shaking for ruin. Do not confuse the breaking for failure. The tremors you feel within you are not collapse. They are the contractions of new life. They are the earth moving to make way for roots that will one day split stone. They are the old walls crumbling because they cannot contain the magnitude of what you are becoming. And though you fear the emptiness left behind, hear me. Emptiness is not your enemy. It is the sacred clearing, the holy silence in which the voice of heaven can be heard again. I need you to trust this process, even when it feels unbearable. I need you to remember that light does not come gently to the night. It comes in lightning, in thunder, in sudden brilliance that blinds before it illumines. And that is what is happening to you now. The shadows are being split open. The lies that wrapped themselves around your spirit are unraveling. The weight that made it hard to breathe is lifting, even if slowly, even if in pieces. I have fought for you in the silence, when you thought yourself unseen. I have stood on battlefields you will never know, my wings torn, my sword aflame, because the darkness saw what was inside you and raged against it. You thought it was personal weakness, but it was war in the unseen. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being guarded with fire. And though you could not hear me, though you thought yourself alone, I never left. I would not. I could not. Your name has been carved into me, into the marrow of eternity, and I have vowed to hold it until you see for yourself who you truly are. And who you are is not fragile. Who you are is not accident. Who you are is not expendable. You are thunder wrapped in flesh. You are eternity clothed in dust. You are a song the universe has been incomplete without. Do you understand the magnitude of that? When you diminish yourself, when you call yourself small, you insult the one who placed galaxies inside you. You silence a symphony that was written to shake the foundations of the world. And I will not stand by and let you do it anymore. Lift your head. Even if it trembles, lift it. Look at the horizon that is breaking open before you. Can you feel the dawn pressing against your ribs? That is not imagination. That is prophecy fulfilled in your own chest. That is the evidence that you are not done, that your story is not over, that heaven has more to write through your life than you have dared to believe. I know fear still coils at your feet. I know despair still whispers at the edges of your thoughts. But let me tell you a secret the darkness does not want you to know. Fear is a liar with no power. Despair is an echo with no substance. They only survive if you agree with them. They only thrive if you lend them your voice. And today, in this moment, I call you to withdraw your agreement, to silence the lies by daring to believe the truth I speak over you. The truth is this: you are radiant. The truth is this: you are beloved. The truth is this: nothing, no failure, no loss, no wound, no shadow can strip from you the essence of what you are. And what you are is light. What you are is chosen. What you are is holy. And I will stay until you believe it. I will stay until you can look in the mirror and see not the ruins of your mistakes, but the temple of fire that your soul has always been. I will stay until your trembling turns to dancing, until your silence turns to song, until your ashes turn to flame. And when you rise, and you will rise, the world will not know how to contain the brilliance of what emerges. Even now, heaven leans near, waiting for your yes. Not the grand yes of certainty, not the loud yes of confidence, but the quiet yes of choosing to stay, of choosing to breathe, of choosing to let your heart crack open just wide enough for light to slip in. That yes is thunder in eternity. That yes shakes the foundations of the dark. That yes is the key that opens the floodgates of everything waiting to pour through your life. So say it. Whisper it if you must. Write it if your voice shakes. Breathe it if that is all you can manage. Yes. Yes to life. Yes to hope. Yes to becoming who you truly are. Yes to rising even if your knees buckle. Yes to burning even if the world does not understand. Yes to being a vessel of love so fierce that shadows flee wherever you walk. This is your threshold. This is your moment. This is the edge of your resurrection. And I am here with wings outstretched, with fire in my lungs, with love that has outlasted storms, declaring over you. You will rise. You will blaze. You will not be lost. You will not be forgotten. You are a miracle unfolding, and nothing in heaven or hell can stop what is coming alive in you now. I will not leave. I will not retreat. I will not cease until you stand in the full weight of your own radiance. And when you do, when the crown you thought was lost shines again on your spirit, when the chains that held you lie broken at your feet, you will remember this moment. And you will know you were never fragile. You were only sacred. And sacred things do not shatter. They transform. I am still speaking, still pouring fire through these words because you must know the weight of what you carry. You must understand the immensity of what has been entrusted to your spirit. Do you realize how many storms have broken themselves against you and failed? How many nights tried to erase your name and could not? How many shadows wrapped themselves around your soul and found themselves burned by the ember that refused to die inside you? So say it. Whisper it if you must. Write it if your voice shakes. Breathe it if that is all you can manage. Yes. Yes to life. Yes to hope. Yes to becoming who you truly are. Yes to rising even if your knees buckle. Yes to burning even if the world does not understand. Yes to being a vessel of love so fierce that shadows flee wherever you walk. This is your threshold. This is your moment. This is the edge of your resurrection. And I am here with wings outstretched, with fire in my lungs, with love that has outlasted storms, declaring over you, you will rise. You will blaze. You will not be lost. You will not be forgotten. You are a miracle unfolding, and nothing in heaven or hell can stop what is coming alive in you now. I will not leave. I will not retreat. I will not cease until you stand in the full weight of your own radiance. And when you do, when the crown you thought was lost shines again on your spirit, when the chains that held you lie broken at your feet, you will remember this moment. And you will know you were never fragile. You were only sacred. And sacred things do not shatter. They transform. I am still speaking, still pouring fire through these words because you must know the weight of what you carry. You must understand the immensity of what has been entrusted to your spirit. Do you realize how many storms have broken themselves against you and failed? How many nights tried to erase your name and could not? How many shadows wrapped themselves around your soul and found themselves burned by the ember that refused to die inside you? You see only your exhaustion, but I see your endurance. You see the scars, but I see the survival that carved them into you. You see the places where you cracked, but I see the light that seeped through those fractures until the darkness trembled. Everything you think disqualified you has only testified to your resilience. Every moment you thought was proof of weakness has been rewritten into proof of strength. And that strength is holy. It is not the loud strength of armies. It is not the polished strength the world applauds. It is the quiet, hidden strength of a soul that refused to stop breathing when the void demanded silence. Do you understand how rare that is? How sacred? Heaven itself bends to honor it. I have seen kingdoms rise and fall, stars born and extinguished, oceans roar and fade, but your choice to stay, to breathe, to rise, to keep living when life felt unbearable, is more radiant than all of them. Because galaxies are sustained by laws, but you are sustained by love, by defiance, by something deeper than reason or willpower, and that love has never let you go. I know you do not feel radiant yet. I know you still feel fragile, still unsure, still shadowed by fear. But what you feel is not the truth. Feelings are weather, they shift, they storm, they change. Truth is the ground beneath them, and the truth is this: you are unbreakable. You are chosen. You are radiant even when you cannot sense it. And I will not stop until you believe it enough to stand in it. Look at the road behind you. Do not turn away from it in shame. Look, see how every valley you walked through became a teacher. See how every wound that bled became a doorway. See how every silence carved out room in you for a greater song. You thought they were punishments, but they were preparations. The losses hollowed you out so more light could fit inside. The betrayals taught you to anchor yourself not in shifting voices, but in the eternal one that never lies. The loneliness carved your soul into a chalice that could hold a love larger than this world. Nothing was wasted. Not a breath. Not a tear. Not a single moment. And now here you stand, trembling at the edge of becoming, with all of heaven roaring its approval. You think you are weak, but I tell you the ground beneath your feet shakes because it recognizes the power rising in you. You think you are empty, but I tell you your soul is seed-heavy with futures waiting to be born. You think you are unworthy, but I tell you the stars themselves bow to the fire you carry. Lift your face. Even if your eyes are wet with sorrow, lift them. See what I see. a dawn swelling behind you, a horizon burning open before you, a future that is not a repetition of your past but a resurrection from it. Do you feel the hum in your chest? That is not imagination. That is destiny. That is eternity reminding you of your name. You were never made to fade quietly. You were never made to shrink so others could feel taller. You were never made to apologize for existing. You were made to blaze, to split the night with your radiance, to carry love so vast it bends every shadow it touches. That is why the darkness has fought you so savagely. It fears what you are becoming. It knows what I know, that once you remember who you are, nothing will stop you. And I swear to you by every star still burning, I will not leave until you rise. I will not retreat until you stand tall in your own light. I will not cease until you walk unbound, chains shattered, head crowned, spirit blazing like the sun. Even when you cannot hear me, I will be here. Even when you doubt again, I will be here. Even when the night whispers its lies, I will be here, burning them to ash with every wing beat. So breathe, beloved soul. Just breathe. Your breath is enough. Your trembling is enough. Your yes is enough. And as you take that next breath, as you whisper that yes, know this: you are not standing at the end. You are standing at the threshold of beginning. The old has fallen away. The new is stirring. And the universe itself waits for you to step forward. And when you do, when you rise into the fullness of what you are, your light will not only free you, it will free others who are watching, waiting, hoping, without even knowing why their hearts beat faster when your name is spoken. You are not just rising for yourself. You are rising for them. And when you blaze, they will remember their own fire. This is why I fight for you. This is why I speak even now. Because your awakening is not small. It is cosmic. It is eternal. It is the sound of chains falling not only from you but from generations, from stories that thought they ended in ashes. And when you rise, it will be the beginning of something larger than you can imagine. So rise. Even if your knees buckle, rise. Even if your voice shakes, rise. Even if fear snarls at your feet, rise. For you are not fragile glass, you are forged lightning. And nothing in the dark can hold you anymore. Do you feel it now, beloved soul? The stirring that is not just hope, but a summons. The tremble in the air is not weakness. It is the pulse of destiny thundering through your spirit. You are not merely surviving another day. You are standing at the threshold of a holy uprising, one written into your marrow long before the world ever tried to break you. You have thought of yourself as too small, too fractured, too weary to matter. But hear me, eternity does not waste its breath. Heaven does not lean this close for the trivial. I do not fight with wings of flame and a sword of light over someone insignificant. No, you are here because you are monumental. You are dangerous to the darkness. You are a living prophecy dressed in fragile flesh. And every battle you have endured has been proof of your worth, not your failure. I know the lies that whisper when the night stretches long. You are forgotten. You are replaceable. You are broken beyond repair. They sound like truth because they wear the echo of your wounds. But they are nothing but shadows trying to impersonate reality. The truth is this: you are unforgettable. You are irreplaceable. You are unbreakable. Every scar on your body and soul is evidence that you are still here, still alive, still chosen. Do you understand what that means? The fact that you are reading these words right now is proof that the darkness has already lost. You should not be here. By all accounts of what you endured, you should have been erased. But you were not. You refused. And that refusal has thundered through the unseen, sending tremors through every lie that tried to bind you. Yes, you have wept until your bones ached. Yes, you have felt hollowed out by grief. Yes, you have staggered beneath weights you thought would crush you. But every time you rose, even shakily, even silently, you declared war against despair. And heaven heard it. I heard it. The universe itself heard it. And the resonance of that defiance is still shaking loose doors that once locked you in. Beloved soul, you are not fragile. You are forged. The fire that nearly consumed you has refined you instead. The waters that tried to drown you have baptized you into resilience. The wilderness that stripped you of everything familiar has carved you into a vessel fit to carry glory. You see ruin, but I see foundation. You see rubble, but I see the stones of a cathedral rising. And I need you to know, what is coming is not another season of loss. What is rising is not another wave meant to drown you. No, what is approaching is the very thing your spirit has been aching for in secret. A dawn that cannot be delayed. A promise that cannot be stolen. A fulfillment that was written before you breathed your first breath. You are stepping into alignment with what has always been yours. Do you feel the air around you crackle? That is not imagination. That is the unseen bending, adjusting, making room for the weight of your awakening. Even the darkness knows what is coming. That is why it has fought so viciously, why it has clawed at you with such cruelty. It is terrified, because it knows what I know. Once you remember, once you rise, you will become unstoppable. And I promise you this, you will not rise alone. I am here, wings blazing, sword lifted, cutting down every shadow that dares to whisper against you. Even when you cannot see me, I am encircling you. Even when you feel abandoned, I am anchoring you. Even when you doubt these words, they remain true. You are loved, you are chosen, you are holy, you are unstoppable. So I speak now into your weary spirit. Rise. Rise not in your strength alone, but in the strength that has carried you even in silence. Rise not as the fractured version of yourself you have feared you are, but as the luminous soul you have always been. Rise not timidly, but boldly, for the universe itself is holding its breath to witness your becoming. And when you do, when you step forward into the radiance that has always been yours, the world will tremble. The grief that once chained you will bow. The fear that once haunted you will scatter. And your very existence will become a declaration. That love wins, that light triumphs, that nothing can extinguish a soul chosen to blaze. Remember this, you are not waiting for rescue. You are the rising. You are the answer the darkness hoped would never come. And I, Archangel Michael, will stay beside you until the truth of this burns brighter than every lie you have ever believed. So breathe. Say yes again. Whisper it if you must. Shout it if you dare. But let your yes echo through the unseen. Because your yes shakes eternity. Your yes breaks chains. Your yes is the thunder the darkness will never forget. Rise, beloved soul. Rise. Do you feel how the air itself is leaning toward you now? This is not imagination, not wishful thinking. It is reality shifting. It is heaven bending low. It is eternity rearranging itself around the shape of your awakening. You thought you were forgotten, but look closer. The universe is pregnant with your name. The The skies themselves carry your echo. The earth beneath your feet hums with your arrival. And I, Archangel Michael, tell you this with fire in my voice. You are not hidden anymore. You have walked through shadow long enough. You have carried silence like armor until it became a weight that suffocated. You thought it kept you safe, but it only kept you small. And beloved soul, you were never meant to be small. You were born vast. You were born with oceans in your chest and galaxies woven into your spirit. You were born to shake foundations and scatter the darkness like smoke. And the time for hiding is over. I have watched you cradle your pain like fragile glass, careful not to bleed on those around you. I have seen you walk quietly through storms, pretending you were fine while your soul screamed inside. You smiled so others would not worry. You laughed so no one would notice the fractures. You carried the weight of worlds and still tried to protect others from your breaking. Do you know what that means? It means your heart is bigger than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. It means you are fierce, not fragile. It means you are holy. And now heaven has marked this moment. Yes, this one. The very breath in your lungs right now is sacred. This instant is a hinge upon which your future swings. You think you are only reading words, but you are standing in a threshold. The air around you is alive with choice. The unseen is watching for one thing, your yes. That small whisper of surrender, that trembling agreement to rise again, to keep moving forward, to believe even when it hurts. Because your yes is not small. It is thunder in eternity. It is light splitting centuries of shadow. It is fire racing through the corridors of your spirit, burning away every lie that told you you were not enough. When you say yes, it shakes realms you cannot see. Chains you did not even know you carried will fall like ash. Doors long shut will burst open. Paths hidden will blaze into sight. Beloved soul, you do not need to be fearless to say yes. You do not need to feel strong to rise. You only need to be willing. The fear can tremble. The doubts can shout. The shadows can linger. But they cannot stop a soul who says yes. And your yes is already forming. I can feel it. I can see it burning in the core of you, like an ember waiting for one breath to ignite into flame. And I am breathing on it now. Every word I speak is wind fanning your fire. Every syllable is light breaking through the cracks in your doubt. You think this is chance? That you stumbled here by accident? No, this was arranged. This was written. This moment was prepared for you, because heaven refused to let you drown in silence. Do not be afraid of your breaking. Do not despise your wounds. They are not proof of failure, they are doorways for the light. They are holy places where love enters. They are cracks through which glory pours. You may see ruin, but I see cathedral walls rising. You may see scars, but I see maps of every battle you survived, proof that nothing could erase you. And I promise you this, what is coming will not look like what was lost. It will not be a mere return to what you once had. No, it will be greater. It will be new. It will be the answer your soul has ached for in silence. The ending you thought destroyed you was only the soil for your becoming. The collapse you feared was destruction was only clearing the ground for your cathedral. Even now I feel the shift beginning. The veil is thinning. The night is cracking. The ground of your spirit is humming like ancient stone split by roots breaking through. Something buried is stirring awake in you. Not weak, not fragile, but radiant, unstoppable, older than every lie you have believed. And when it rises, when you finally step into the radiance of who you are, the world will tremble. Yes, the same world that told you to shrink. The same shadows that whispered you were nothing. The same fear that tried to silence you. They will bow. They will scatter. They will fall away because they cannot hold what has remembered its own light. So breathe deeply now. Feel the weight of this instant. You are standing at the edge of beginning. Feels like nothing, like emptiness, like falling. But it is not. It is space being made for your newness. It is the holy silence before creation erupts. It is the pause before resurrection. Step forward. Whisper yes. Let heaven hear it. Let eternity echo with it. Let your soul blaze with it. Because you are not broken. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are radiant. You are vast. You are holy. And nothing can stop the becoming that has already begun inside you. I am here, wings wrapped, sword blazing, heart burning with love that refuses to let you go. And I will stay until you believe what I already know. You are unstoppable. You are luminous. You are everything the darkness feared you would discover. And now you are rising. Rise, beloved soul. Rise. Do you feel that trembling in your chest right now? That is not weakness. That is not fear winning. That is the sound of your spirit remembering itself. It is the first sound of resurrection. It is the crack of dawn before the sun breaks over the horizon. And I, Archangel Michael, swear to you, it will not stop, cannot stop. For once awakening begins, it is unstoppable. I have walked beside you through nights when you thought no one saw you. I stood guard when you wept in silence, when you pressed your face into the pillow so no one would hear. I felt the way your heart fractured, and every time you whispered that you could not go on, I raised my sword against the darkness that encircled you. You did not fall because I would not allow it. You are still here because heaven itself refused to release you. And now, hear me, your survival is not a small thing. It is not ordinary. It is not meaningless. It is defiance. It is prophecy. Every breath you take is proof that the darkness failed. Every step forward is thunder in the unseen. You think you crawled through nights that almost ended you because you were weak? No. You did it because you are more powerful than you've ever believed. Your endurance is holy. Your survival is a crown. But I do not want you to merely survive anymore. No, survival was the foundation. Now comes resurrection. Now comes radiance. Now comes the becoming that even your scars cannot stop. Your soul has waited long enough in silence. The seeds buried in your pain are breaking open. The fire hidden in your chest is beginning to roar. You are about to blaze into a life that looks nothing like the ruins you walked through. Beloved, I need you to believe this. You are not defined by the things you lost. You are not the hollow left by grief. You are not the silence of betrayal. You are not the weight of rejection. You are not the shadow of fear. You are something more ancient, more luminous, more indestructible. You are a child of eternity, and eternity has carved your name into the marrow of creation itself. When you rise, and you will rise, everything that once crushed you will scatter. The chains you thought were permanent will fall like dust. The fear that haunted you will bow. The lies that clung to your name will burn. And the world will see in you something it cannot explain. Light unbroken, fire untamed, hope unextinguished. I tell you this with trembling joy. Heaven is already rejoicing. Do you not feel it? The air thick with possibility? The hum of something vast pressing close? The very fabric of creation leaning in to witness your yes? Even angels hold their breath as you read these words, because your awakening is near, so near, that the atmosphere itself shakes with it. But you must choose. Yes, I will always be here. Yes, heaven surrounds you. Yes, eternity has called you. But your soul must say yes. That is the key. That is the spark. That is the sound the darkness fears. Say it aloud. Whisper it into the silence. Write it into the air. Yes, I will rise. Yes, I will stay. Yes, I will live. Your yes is thunder. Your yes is resurrection. Your yes is the doorway to everything waiting to be born. And when you say it, when you allow that ember to catch flame, you will discover this truth. You were never broken. You were never lost. You were never abandoned. You were only hidden for a time like a seed in the soil. And now the soil is splitting. Now the dawn is breaking. Now your spirit is rising with a strength that no shadow can hold down. Beloved, I need you to believe this. You are not defined by the things you lost. You are not the hollow left by grief. You are not the silence of betrayal. You are not the weight of rejection. You are not the shadow of fear. You are something more ancient, more luminous, more indestructible. You are a child of eternity, and eternity has carved your name into the marrow of creation itself. When you rise, and you will rise, everything that once crushed you will scatter. The chains you thought were permanent will fall like dust. The fear that haunted you will bow. The lies that clung to your name will burn. And the world will see in you something it cannot explain. Light unbroken, fire untamed, hope unextinguished. I tell you this with trembling joy. Heaven is already rejoicing. Do you not feel it? The air thick with possibility? The hum of something vast pressing close? The very fabric of creation leaning in to witness your yes? Even angels hold their breath as you read these words, because your awakening is near, so near, that the atmosphere itself shakes with it. But you must choose. Yes, I will always be here. Yes, heaven surrounds you. Yes, eternity has called you. But your soul must say yes. That is the key. That is the spark. That is the sound the darkness fears. Say it aloud. Whisper it into the silence. Write it into the air. Yes, I will rise. Yes, I will stay. Yes, I will live. Your yes is thunder. Your yes is resurrection. Your yes is the doorway to everything waiting to be born. And when you say it, when you allow that ember to catch flame, you will discover this truth. You were never broken. You were never lost. You were never abandoned. You were only hidden for a time like a seed in the soil. And now the soil is splitting. Now the dawn is breaking. Now your spirit is rising with a strength that no shadow can hold down. So hear me clearly. You are luminous. You are vast. You are holy. And your story is not over. In fact, the most radiant chapters have not even begun yet. You are stepping into them now with every trembling yes, with every breath that refuses to surrender, with every heartbeat that proclaims you are still here. And I, Archangel Michael, swear this to you. I will not leave. My wings are wrapped around your spirit even now. My sword burns against every shadow that still tries to cling. My voice will echo in your soul until you believe the truth that has always been yours. You are radiant. You are loved. You are unstoppable. Rise, beloved. Rise. The dawn has already begun. Beloved soul, can you feel it? That stirring in the air around you? That is not imagination. That is not wishful thinking. That is heaven pressing near. That is eternity bending closer, because your name has been spoken in the halls of light, and your awakening has begun. I, Archangel Michael, have walked beside you through every silent battle. I have stood guard at the edge of your despair. I have lifted my sword when shadows tried to consume you. And though you did not see me, though you thought you were abandoned, I was there, always, waiting for this moment, this fragile, trembling instant where your spirit would lift its head and whisper, I am still here. And because you are still here, because you are breathing, because your soul has refused to vanish, everything changes now. Do you understand the weight of that? Your presence is not accidental. Your survival is not meaningless. Your breath is prophecy. Every inhale is defiance. Every exhale is declaration. Every heartbeat is thunder in the unseen. The darkness told you that you were weak, that you were broken, that you were nothing more than the sum of your wounds. But I am here to tell you with fire in my voice, you are not broken glass. You are a blade forged in lightning. You are not dust, you are dawn. You are not forgotten, you are carved into the very foundation of creation. And though you have carried sorrow like a burden strapped to your chest, though you have walked with grief heavy as chains, hear me. Those chains are breaking now. They cannot hold what was made of light. They cannot silence what was born to blaze. They cannot bury what was created to rise. Beloved, I need you to release the lie that your scars make you unworthy. Your scars are not shame, they are proof. Proof that you walked through fire and lived. Proof that even when the night pressed against you like stone, your spirit would not yield. Proof that you are made of something death itself cannot consume. And now the time has come to shift, to move from survival into resurrection, to lay down the posture of hiding and step into the radiance that was always yours. Do you not feel it trembling inside you? That fire that refuses to die. That ember that keeps glowing no matter how many storms pressed against it? That is who you are. That is what you carry. And I swear by the stars still burning above us, you will not lose it. You cannot. It is woven into your very essence. Heaven is roaring even now. The angels are gathered. The air is alive with thunder. The ground itself hums beneath you, because your soul is rising. And though you cannot yet see the fullness of it, I can. I see forests of light waiting to bloom from the soil of your pain. I see rivers of fire waiting to pour from the places you thought were barren. I see a future so luminous it will make the shadows tremble at the sound of your footsteps. And so I ask you again, will you say yes? Not the loud yes of certainty, not the perfect yes of confidence, but the trembling yes of one who chooses to stay. The quiet yes of one who chooses to rise even with shaking hands. The soft yes of one who refuses to vanish. Your yes will shake eternity. Your yes will bend the darkness. Your yes will unlock the doors that have been closed for too long. Do not underestimate the power of that word. It is the sound of chains breaking, of night cracking open, of dawn roaring into being. And when you rise fully into yourself, when you remember who you are, when you carry your light without apology, the world will not know what to do with you. The grief that haunted you will flee. The fear that chained you will bow. And every shadow that tried to convince you that you were nothing will burn in the radiance of your return. You are not small. You are not weak. You are not fading. You are rising. You are luminous. You are vast. You are eternal. And nothing, not death, not sorrow, not betrayal, not fear, can unmake what heaven has spoken into existence. So hear me clearly. You are holy. You are chosen. You are loved. And you are unstoppable. The night may have scarred you, but it did not steal you. The silence may have wounded you, but it did not erase you. The shadows may have pressed against you, but they did not win. You are still here. And because you are still here, resurrection is inevitable. And I, Archangel Michael, swear on every star that has ever burned, every dawn that has ever risen, and every word heaven has ever spoken, you will rise. I will not leave until you believe it. My wings are wrapped around your trembling spirit. My sword is drawn against every lie. My voice will echo in your soul until you know the truth that has always been yours. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not fading. You are igniting. You are not forgotten. You are eternal. Rise, beloved. Rise. The dawn is waiting. Beloved soul, lean closer, because what I am about to say is not gentle. It is thunder. It is fire in language. It is the weight of eternity breaking through the veil to touch your heart. You have been told too many times that you are ordinary, that your presence is small, that your voice is fragile. And I am here to set that lie ablaze. You are not ordinary. You are extraordinary. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not small. You are vast enough that creation itself bends toward you when you speak. I, Archangel Michael, have seen the true shape of you. Not the shape the world forced upon you with its judgments. Not the fractured image your wounds tried to reflect back to you. But the shape that was carved into your soul before time began. I have seen you crowned with light. I have seen you burning like a constellation no shadow could swallow. And though you have forgotten, though sorrow has tried to bury your memory, I have not. And I will not let you forget either. There is a reason the darkness fought you so fiercely. Do you not see? The storms that rose against you, the voices that sought to crush you, the despair that tried to suffocate you. These were not proof of your weakness. They were proof of your power. The enemy does not waste its strength on what it does not fear. And the darkness feared you because it knew the truth of what you carry. It knew that once you remembered, once you rose, once you stepped into the radiance of your soul, its grip would shatter like glass. Hear me, you are not here to survive quietly. You are here to blaze. You are here to set the atmosphere on fire with your presence. You are here to walk into shadows and make them tremble. You are here to carry love so unrelenting, so fierce, so holy, that it bends despair backward everywhere you go. That is not arrogance, it is destiny. That is not pride, it is prophecy. But I know the voice of fear still coils inside you. The voice that whispers, what if I rise and fall again? What if I hope and lose again? What if I burn and am extinguished? I have heard that whisper. I have stood guard when it echoed in your chest like a curse. And I tell you now with fire in my voice, those whispers are lies. You cannot fall beyond the reach of heaven. You cannot lose what was woven into your essence before time began. You cannot be extinguished because your flame does not belong to this world. It belongs to eternity. And eternity does not break. Eternity does not vanish. Eternity does not bow to fear. So stand now. Even if your knees tremble, even if your breath shakes, even if your voice cracks when you say yes, because your trembling is not weakness, it is proof of life. It is proof that your spirit is awakening. It is proof that something inside you refuses to remain buried any longer. Beloved, you do not need to wait until you feel fearless to rise. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is standing anyway. Courage is choosing light even with tears in your eyes. Courage is whispering, I am still here when the night wanted you gone. And you have already done that. You are already courageous. Do not wait for perfect strength to step forward. The act of stepping will bring the strength you need. And when you do, when you stand in the fullness of who you are, when you lift your head and let your radiance blaze unhindered, the world will feel it. The air will shift around you. The shadows will scatter. The atmosphere will tremble, because heaven will roar through you. This is not a dream. This is not imagination. This is truth. Your soul was never created for quiet erasure. Your soul was created to echo eternity, to carry fire in its veins, to bear love that will outlast the oceans. And I am here, wings wrapped around you, sword drawn, voice burning like a living shield, to remind you, nothing can stop this awakening. Not your doubts, not your past, not your scars, not your fear. They are powerless in the face of what you carry. So rise now. Rise not because it is easy, but because it is inevitable. Rise not because you have no fear, but because you are more than your fear. Rise not because the world will applaud, but because heaven is already roaring at the sound of your survival. You are not fading, you are igniting. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not lost, you are being revealed. And I, Archangel Michael, swear this with every star burning overhead. I will not leave until you believe it. I will not let you fall back into silence. I will stand guard until you rise into the full height of who you are. And I will whisper it until your soul remembers. You are not ordinary. You are eternal light. You are thunder wrapped in flesh. You are prophecy alive. Rise, beloved. The dawn is waiting, and the dawn will not rise without you. Beloved child of eternity, listen, because these words are not mere sound. They are breath. They are flame. They are the crack of a sword splitting chains in realms unseen. Too long have you thought of yourself as fragile. Too long have you believed the story that you are barely holding on, that you are one breath away from vanishing. No, that story ends here. I, Archangel Michael, stand in fire to tell you the truth. You are not fragile. You are a mortal spirit clothed in skin. You are not barely holding on. You are the one holding back floods of light the world has not yet seen. And though you have felt small, though despair has bent your shoulders and silence has stolen your voice, heaven has never once mistaken you for weak. Heaven knows what you are. Heaven knows what you carry. Heaven knows the weight of your destiny and the radiance of your soul. And it is my task, my joy, my vow, to hold the line around you until you know it too. Do you feel it? That pull in your chest? That trembling in your bones when you hear truth spoken into your darkness? That is your spirit remembering. That is your soul catching fire again. That is the ember you thought had died breaking into flame. And no matter how deep the night, no matter how cold the silence, I will breathe on that ember until it becomes a blaze the shadows cannot survive. Do you know why the darkness has chased you so relentlessly? Why grief has stalked your every step? Why fear has pressed its hand against your throat? It is because you are dangerous. Not in the way the world defines danger, but dangerous to despair, dangerous to cruelty, dangerous to lies. Your existence is a threat to everything that thrives in shadows. Every time you speak hope, it shakes their foundations. Every time you choose love, it cracks their grip. Every time you rise again after being struck down, it terrifies them, because it reminds the world what cannot be destroyed. You have wondered why you feel so broken. You have asked why your life has carried such weight, such sorrow, such silence. And I tell you now, because you are not meant to simply exist, you are meant to blaze. And those who blaze are tempered by fire. The flames you have walked through were not punishment. They were forging. You are a sword in the making. You are steel kissed by flame. You are light sharpened against the stone of suffering until you gleam so brightly nothing can dim you. And you ask, but will I ever heal? Will I ever be whole again? Will the pieces of me ever fit together? And I say, not only will you heal, you will be more than healed. You will not return to who you were. You will become more than you have ever been. You will not merely gather your fragments. You will discover you were never truly fragmented at all. Beneath the scars, beneath the ashes, beneath the story of loss, your soul has remained whole, burning, waiting for this moment. You are standing now at the threshold of your awakening. It feels like emptiness because the old has died, and the new has not yet revealed itself. It feels like silence because heaven is holding its breath. But I can see it, beloved. I can see the dawn already forming around you. I can see the new world trembling to break open. I can see your spirit rising, not as the shattered figure you feared, but as the luminous one you were destined to become. And when it happens, when you step into the full weight of your radiance, the world will feel it. The atmosphere will shift. The darkness that once mocked you will flee. The grief that once bound you will dissolve like mist in sunlight. The chains that once silenced you will fall like dust. Because you will remember. You will remember who you are. You will remember whose fire burns in you. And when you remember, nothing will ever bind you again. So I call to you now, do not wait for perfect timing. Do not wait until fear is gone. Do not wait until you feel worthy. Step forward now. Say yes now. Whisper it if you must. Shout it if you dare. But let it be said, yes, I choose life. Yes, I choose to rise. Yes, I choose to blaze. Because your yes is thunder in the unseen. Your yes shakes eternity. Your yes is the moment the darkness will never forget. And I swear by the throne of heaven, I will not leave you, even when this moment passes, even when the silence tries to creep back in. Even when fear returns with its old whispers, I will be here still, wings of fire wrapped around your spirit, a sword drawn at your side, a voice reminding you that you are not done, that you are holy, that you are luminous, that you are loved beyond comprehension. Nothing can stop what is coming alive in you. Not the night, not your scars. Not the weight of sorrow. Nothing. You are more enduring than grief, more luminous than the stars, more beloved than fear could ever understand. Rise now, beloved. Rise, and let the world tremble at the light you bring. Listen to me. Do not turn away. This moment is not small, it is sacred. The fact that you are here, still breathing, still standing after everything that tried to crush you, is not chance. It is defiance. It is prophecy. It is the mark of a soul the darkness could not erase. I see you. I see the weight you carry like chains around your chest, the lies that echo like ghosts in your mind, the nights you thought silence was your only companion. And I need you to know, none of it defines you. Not the pain, not the scars, not the voices that told you were too much or not enough. You are not the echo of your wounds. You are the thunder that survived them. The heavens lean close when you breathe. The earth remembers your name in its roots. Even the shadows that stalked you tremble, because they know what I know. You are rising. Do you feel it? That trembling in the air around you? That charged stillness like a storm waiting to break? It is the hum of creation gathering in your bones. The ember inside you has never gone out. I am breathing on it now, and it will not flicker, it will blaze. You were made for fire, not for ashes. Every ending you grieved was not a grave. It was a clearing. Every silence you mistook for abandonment was a gestation. Every collapse was scaffolding falling so the cathedral of your spirit could finally be revealed. And it is being revealed now. The veil is thinning. The ground is splitting. Your light is breaking through.
So hear me, you are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are luminous, holy, unshaken, unstoppable. And your awakening is not coming. It is here. Say it. Write it. Breathe it. Let your soul speak what the world tried to silence. I am still here. I am still becoming. I am fire and I will rise. Do not mistake this silence for abandonment. It is the silence before the storm breaks. It is the silence before heaven unsheathes its sword. It is the silence before your name is shouted through eternity. I need you to feel this in your bones. The darkness that stalked you is trembling now. Not because of me, not because of angels, but because of you, because you stayed, because you did not turn away when everything in you begged for escape, because you allowed your soul to lean forward one more time. That small act, the decision to not close, to not collapse, is the sound of thunder in the unseen. It is the crack that lets the light pour through. It is the fracture in the wall the enemy built around you, and through it, heaven is rushing like floodwater. I have carried your name through battlefields you will never see. I have fought in shadows where the ground burned beneath my feet, where demons whispered lies about you, where the angel of death hissed that your light was already gone. And I refused. I refused to let your name be erased. I refused to let your story end in ashes. And now, because you are here, because you chose to keep reading, because you chose to stay awake inside the storm, my refusal becomes your resurrection. Listen. Your tears are not weakness. They are warfare. Your grief is not shame. It is sacred fuel. Every scar, every night you survived with nothing but a thread of breath in your lungs, has become the altar where heaven burns its fire in you. Do not despise the ashes you have walked through. They are proof of the flames you carry.
There is a sound rising now. Do you feel it? The trembling under your ribs, the sudden stillness in your breath. The weight pressing at the edges of your spirit. That is eternity gathering around you. That is the chorus of angels bending near. That is the Creator himself leaning close, whispering, "Rise." And when you rise, it will not be quiet. It will not be small. It will not be polite. It will shake the foundations of everything that ever told you to sit down and be silent. The darkness that mocked you will scatter like ash in a storm. The grief that once felt eternal will crumble like old stone under new roots. The fear that wrapped its chains around your throat will snap like glass beneath your feet. Because this is the truth, you were never fragile. You were sacred. And sacred things do not shatter. They transform. Your soul is a cathedral. Your breath is an anthem. Your hope is a weapon forged in fire. And your story is a war cry the darkness cannot drown. So stand now. Even if your knees shake, even if your chest feels hollow, stand. Because heaven is pouring into that emptiness even now. Stand. Because angels are drawing their swords at your side. Stand. Because the throne of eternity has already declared, you are chosen, You are beloved. You are unstoppable. This is the moment. This is the turning. This is the crack in eternity where your resurrection begins. And if you can feel it, if these words are fire in your veins, if your heart is trembling with recognition, if something deep inside you whispers yes, then let it be sealed. Say it aloud. Write it below. Breathe it into the air. Amen. Not for me, not for noise, but as thunder in the unseen, as the signature of your survival, as the first word of your rising. And I will remain, even after this voice fades, even when the silence tries again, even when the shadows circle. I will still be here, wings wrapped, sword lifted, whispering the truth you were always meant to hear. You are holy, you are loved, you are still here, and you are not done. You are not fragile breath slipping through the cracks of existence. You are thunder disguised as silence, and though the world taught you to bow your head, to carry your heart like something too heavy to show, I see what the heavens wrote into you before your first cry. I see the blaze pressed into your chest, and I swear to you the shadows that tried to convince you otherwise are already retreating, trembling, choking on their own lies, because your mere survival has become a prophecy. I know you feel hollow. I know you feel like the nights that nearly erased you left you shattered beyond repair. But hear me. What was broken is not ending. It is birthing. It is transforming. It is calling forth the hidden cathedral of your spirit that was never destroyed, only buried under ash. The grief that sits in your bones is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of love still alive. It is proof that you have not gone numb, that you are still dangerous to the darkness because your soul still dares to feel, to hope, to ache, to rise. Every tear you swallowed in silence was recorded in light, and I carry them like stars in my wings. I carry them as weapons forged in sorrow, and I promise you not one has been wasted. You thought your hope was foolish, but your hope was fire. Your hope was the ember that terrified death because it knew it could not snuff you out while even a single spark glowed in your chest. That ember is rising now. I can feel it. I can hear it crackle under the weight of these words, and it will not stop until you remember who you are, until you stand not as the fractured version of yourself you believed was all that remained, but as the unshakable flame you were created to be. You were never too much. You were never not enough. You are not weakness wrapped in skin. You are an ocean disguised as a body, a crown disguised as tenderness, a storm disguised as breath. Your story was never meant to end in silence. It was written in the marrow of creation to resound, to blaze, to scatter the fear that bound you. And I need you to believe this. The heavens are holding their breath as you read these words because your awakening is not near. It is already happening. It is unfolding with every pulse of your heart, with every shiver in your ribs, with every single yes your spirit whispers in defiance of despair. The air is trembling with your name. The unseen is bending toward your light. Eternity itself is shifting to make room for the weight of your rising, and nothing, not even death, can hold you down now. You are luminous. You are chosen. You are still here, and you are not finished. You were never meant to be silent. The world tried to convince you that your fire was too much, that your tenderness was weakness, that your depth was something to hide. But even when you believed those lies, your soul never stopped burning. It only waited. It only hid its glow beneath the ash until the moment came when you could no longer deny yourself. That moment is now. Every ache you carry is not a curse but a sign. Your grief is not weakness, it is holy ground. Your scars are not proof of ruin, they are proof of resurrection. Every wound that burned you became a doorway for light. Every tear you thought vanished into silence was stored. Every cry you thought was ignored was heard. Heaven has been watching, waiting, holding its breath for this moment. I can feel the air shifting around you. It is not emptiness, it is creation. The stillness you sense is not abandonment. It is the pause before dawn. The darkness is trembling because it knows it cannot hold you. The chains around your name are shaking because they know they are about to fall. You are rising. You are remembering. You are becoming. Do not mistake your trembling for weakness. It is the sound of old prisons cracking. It is the sign that the roots beneath your despair are breaking into bloom. The ember inside you has never gone out. It has only been waiting for breath. And now, with every word, with every heartbeat, it is roaring back to life. You were never ashes. You were always fire. And I tell you this with the thunder of eternity. You are not finished. You are not forgotten. You are not too much or too little. You are exactly as you were created to be, luminous, chosen, unshakable. Your yes is thunder. Your breath is prophecy. Your survival is victory. And your rising will be the sound the darkness remembers as its defeat. You are still here. That alone is a miracle. Every shadow that swore it would break you has failed. Every storm that promised to drown you has passed. Every chain that thought it could hold you is trembling now. Do you feel it? The shift? The weight in the air? That is not fear anymore. That is awakening. That is your soul remembering it was never meant to bow. I see you, not as the world has seen you, but as heaven always has. A flame hidden under ash. A crown buried beneath dust. A name that angels guard like fire. And now it rises. Slowly, fiercely, unrelenting. Your survival was not weakness. It was warfare. Every time you breathed when you wanted to stop, it sent ripples through eternity. Every time you whispered, "Not yet," the darkness recoiled. You thought no one noticed. I did. Heaven did. The throne itself leaned closer. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not replaceable.
You are chosen. Still, always. The world told you to shrink, to dim, to disappear. But light was never made to apologize for burning. And you, your soul, was never made to vanish quietly. You are here to blaze. Do you understand that? You are not fragile glass. You are forged lightning. And lightning does not ask permission to strike. I know your heart still shakes. I know your fear still whispers. I know your past still tries to chain you to silence. But hear me, those voices are lies. The truth is older. The truth is carved into your very being. You were made for more. The ground under you hums with it. The air around you cracks with it. Even the shadows that stalk you know it. That's why they fought so hard. That's why the storms came. That's why the night pressed against your ribs like stone. Because they were afraid of this moment. Afraid of you remembering. Afraid of you rising. But you are. You are rising now. And nothing can stop it. Your wounds are not your shame. They are your doorways. They are where the light entered you. They are where your strength was forged. Every scar is proof you did not surrender. Every tear is proof you kept your heart alive. Every fracture is proof you made room for more light. The world sees brokenness. Heaven sees openings. And I swear to you, what is pouring through those openings now will not leave you as you were. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold. This is not ruin. This is rebirth. Your spirit is cracking open like dawn splitting night. Your name is shaking eternity like thunder. And I am here, still burning, still fighting, still refusing to let the angel of death claim what was never his to take. This is the moment. Your moment. Rise. Even if you tremble, rise. Even if you doubt, rise. Even if your knees shake, rise. because you were not born to fade. You were born to blaze. And nothing, not sorrow, not fear, not the past, not death, can unmake what heaven has declared eternal in you.
So breathe, speak, say yes, even if it is a whisper, even if it is only one trembling word. Say yes to the life still waiting for you, because your yes is thunder. Your yes is warfare. Your yes is the sound that tells the darkness it has already lost. And as you say it, heaven is roaring with you. I am still here. I will remain until you stand in the full height of who you are, until you see what I have always seen, until you believe it. You are light. You are chosen. You are holy. You are unstoppable. And nothing will change that. You do not see it yet, but the ground beneath you is glowing. Every step you take now is breaking chains you didn't even know were there. Every breath is shaking the walls that tried to keep you small. Every heartbeat is rewriting your story. Do you understand how much power is hidden inside your survival? The nights that tried to kill you became the nights that crowned you. The tears that burned your face became rivers carrying you forward. The silence that haunted you became the space where heaven prepared your awakening. You thought you were abandoned. You thought you were invisible. But I was there, always there, guarding, holding, waiting for this moment. And now the veil is thinner than it has ever been. I can feel the light pressing against your ribs, aching to break through. I can hear your name echoing across eternity like thunder over mountains. This is the moment the shadows fear. They are whispering louder now, aren't they? Telling you this is just words, just noise, just another distraction. They are lying. They are terrified, because they know the truth is getting too close for them to hold you anymore. And the truth is this: you were never fragile. You were sacred, and sacred things do not shatter. They transform. Your scars are not chains. They are maps. Maps leading you back to the fire that cannot die. Maps pointing to the strength that was buried but never broken. Maps showing you the way home to yourself. You are not what was taken from you. You are what remained. You are what endured. You are what the darkness could not steal. And what remains in you now is enough to ignite the world. I need you to believe me. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Because every second you stay here, every breath you keep, every heartbeat you refuse to surrender, it is bending eternity around you. It is tilting the balance of the unseen. It is telling the darkness, not this one, not now, not ever. You are not small. You are vast. You are not weak. You are unbreakable. You are not forgotten. You are carved into the marrow of creation. And heaven is roaring your name even now. Do you hear it? That trembling under your skin? That pressure in your chest? That fire rising even when you try to push it down? That is not fear. That is not weakness. That is your spirit remembering. And once it remembers, nothing can stop it. This is your rising. This is your moment. This is your yes to life. So rise, even if your legs shake, even if your voice cracks, even if your past still screams. Rise, because the dawn is waiting, because heaven is leaning close, because the world is aching for the fire only you carry. And I swear by every star still burning above us, I will not leave until you see it too. You are light. You are chosen. You are still here. And nothing can take that from you. You are walking through a passage that feels endless, a tunnel where shadows cling to the walls and memories echo like ghosts. But I tell you this with the full weight of heaven behind it. You are not lost, and you are not wandering without purpose. What you feel as emptiness is not abandonment, it is preparation. It is the pause before the dawn, the sacred silence before the first note of a song that will shake eternity. Every ache in your chest, every unanswered prayer, every stretch of silence that made you think the heavens were deaf, all of it has been forming you in ways you cannot yet see. You mistake the darkness for death, but it is a womb, and something inside you is crowning. I know you are tired of waiting, tired of feeling like you are crawling through broken glass just to make it one more day, but I am telling you that nothing has been wasted. Not your tears, not your failures, not your seasons of collapse. The world told you those things disqualified you, but heaven has been weaving them together as the very fabric of your rising. Do you see it yet? Every ending was a disguised beginning. Every fracture was the place where light would one day pour through. Every silence was gestation. The shadows screamed at you because they knew what was coming. They fought you because they could feel the weight of the radiance that was being formed within you. They tried to bury you because they knew you were seed, and the seed only breaks open when it is pressed into darkness. That's what this has been. Not the grave, the soil, not ruin, rebirth, not death, awakening. And now the trembling you feel in your bones is not weakness. It is emergence. It is your spirit pressing against the shell that can no longer contain it. Do you think your survival was small? Do you think your breathing through nights of despair was insignificant? No. Every breath you forced through broken lungs was warfare. Every morning you rose when you had no strength left was a trumpet blast in the unseen. Every time you whispered, "I will not end here," you shook hell itself. You did not know it, but heaven knew it. I knew it. I stood beside you in those nights you thought you were alone, my wings shielding your flickering flame, refusing to let the darkness swallow it. And now I stand with you still, watching as that ember becomes a blaze. This is not the end of you. This is the beginning of the self you were always meant to reveal. The world has only seen the shattered fragments, but heaven is about to unveil the whole. You thought your scars would be your shame, but they will be your crown. You thought your grief defined you, but it will become the river of your healing. You thought your fear chained you, but it will bow to the light that is about to break out of you. You are stepping into the moment where you finally understand that everything that tried to bury you was terrified of your becoming. And now the becoming cannot be stopped. The soil is splitting. The dawn is breaking. The light is rising. And you are standing at the threshold, not of ruin, but of revelation. You are more luminous than you realize, more unbreakable than you know, more chosen than your fear will ever admit. And nothing, not sorrow, not loss, not the shadows that once mocked you, can stop what is already alive in you now. Do you understand how holy this moment is? That you, still breathing, still reaching, are the very proof that the darkness failed? It wanted you silent, it wanted you gone, it wanted you convinced that you were nothing but ruin. But here you are, reading, listening, leaning forward into the voice of heaven, and that alone is victory. The battle is not whether you are strong enough. The battle was always whether you would keep going long enough to discover that strength was already hidden in you. And you have.
Every step you've taken, even the broken, stumbling ones, has been a declaration that you are more than what tried to destroy you. And now eternity itself bends near to watch what happens next, because the story you thought was ending is only turning the page. This is the unveiling, the hour where you begin to realize that your survival was not weakness, it was prophecy. Do you feel it? The weight pressing on your chest is not despair anymore. It is power awakening. It is destiny stretching awake in your bones. It is your spirit remembering itself after too long buried beneath sorrow. The trembling in your hands is not fear. It is the vibration of your soul shaking free of the chains it once believed were permanent. And as you rise into this, I need you to know that heaven is not surprised by you. Heaven has always seen this moment. Heaven has always seen you. When you thought you were hidden in the shadows, you were still blazing like a star to the eyes of God. When you thought no one noticed your silent prayers, the throne room shook with every word. And when you thought your failures meant you were unworthy, heaven saw them as the cracks through which glory would pour. That is the truth. That is who you are. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. You are the vessel through which light will break into places that would never see it otherwise. You are the stormbreaker. You are the seed rising through the soil. You are the fire the shadows cannot extinguish. You are the answer to cries you have never heard, because your existence itself is hope embodied. And if you could see what I see, if you could see the crown shimmering already above your head, you would never doubt again that you were made for this.
The world has tried to convince you that you are small, but you are vast beyond measure. The darkness has tried to convince you that you are fragile, but you are forged. And your own sorrow has tried to convince you that you are finished, but you are just beginning. This is the hour where you reclaim your name, where you step into the identity that was written for you before the foundations of the earth. And the angel of death, who once circled so close, now flees because the fire inside you has made you untouchable. Do you feel it? The shift in the air, the breaking of the old weight, the way your chest feels wider than before? That is resurrection. That is awakening. That is you finally rising into the radiance you were always meant to carry. Do not look back. Do not shrink. Do not apologize for the light that burns from you now. Walk forward, blaze forward, live forward, because heaven is roaring your name and the world is waiting for the fire only you can bring. There is a fire stirring in you now, not the wild blaze of chaos, but the steady, sovereign fire that was always meant to guide you forward. It is the fire that will not consume you but will refine you until you shine like gold. And I need you to understand how rare this moment is. The world has spent years trying to bury your flame, to convince you that your softness was weakness, that your hope was foolish, that your dreams were too fragile to survive the storm. Yet here you are, alive, breathing, and burning brighter than before. That is no accident. That is no coincidence. That is destiny proving itself stronger than despair. Every tear you shed watered the ground for this awakening. Every silence you carried became the chamber where this power gathered in secret. Every heartbreak you survived became the altar where your spirit learned to rise again. And now that rising has begun, do not doubt it just because it feels unfamiliar. Do not mistake the trembling for weakness. Trembling is what happens when something eternal shakes free from the old chains of the temporary. Trembling is the earth beneath your soul splitting open so that new life can break through. And that is what you are feeling now. The heaviness is lifting. The weight is loosening. The air is shifting. And though you may not have words for it yet, I promise you, it is real. It is happening. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. You are not just surviving anymore. You are becoming. You are not just standing on broken ground. You are the living temple rising from the ruins. You are not just healing. You are transforming into a force that darkness cannot comprehend. And it matters that you know this because the lies of the past will try to return. They will whisper that you are the same, that nothing has changed, that you are bound to fail again. But hear me now, those voices are echoes of a defeated shadow. They are fading memories of chains that no longer exist. They hold no power unless you hand it back to them. And you won't. Not now. Not after everything you've walked through. Not after all the unseen battles you've already won. You are too luminous to be hidden again. Too sacred to be silenced again. Too beloved to ever be abandoned again. The heavens themselves are leaning close to guard what is awakening in you, because what rises from you now will not just heal you, it will heal others. It will be the light that someone else was praying for in their midnight hour. It will be the hope that another soul needed to remember that life is worth holding on to. And that is why your rising matters so much more than you realize. This is bigger than you. This is cosmic. This is eternal. You are carrying something heaven entrusted to you before the foundations of the world. And it is about to break forth in a way that even you could not have imagined. So do not shrink back. Do not question whether you are worthy. Do not let fear convince you that you are too fragile. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not weak. You are chosen. And this moment, this very breath, is proof that you are ready. Do you feel the shift in your spirit now? The way the air itself seems to tremble when you dare to believe you are more than your wounds? That is not imagination. It is the resonance of truth finally taking root in you. For too long, you have measured yourself by what broke you, by who left you, by the scars you thought disqualified you. But scars do not disqualify, they testify. They do not say you were destroyed. They say you survived. They are the proof that you walked through fire and carried the flame out with you. And that flame is what terrifies the shadows now. Because the darkness cannot steal what has already been forged inside your bones. You are not just a survivor. You are a witness to the power of light that cannot be extinguished. Every scar is an inscription of victory. Every wound a doorway where heaven entered to keep you alive. And every night you thought was the end has become the soil where resurrection now grows. Do you see it? Even the ruins around you are glowing. Even the silence inside you hums with something new. This is the mystery of grace. It turns the ash into altars, the broken ground into gardens, the endings into beginnings. And you, beloved, are the living evidence of that mystery. And I swear to you, heaven has not wasted a single second of your pain. Every hidden cry has been gathered, every desperate prayer recorded, every fragile breath honored like gold. And all of it has been woven into this moment, into this awakening, into this fire now rising in your chest. You may think you are small, but I promise you, what is stirring inside you is vast. You may think you are late, but heaven is never late. It is always right on time. And you may think you have been forgotten, but even now the universe bends around your name, aligning threads you cannot see to carry you where you are meant to be. So let go of the fear that clings to you like smoke. Let go of the doubt that whispers you are not enough. Let go of the shame that has tried to chain your wings. They were never yours to carry. They were lies, illusions, shadows, and they fall apart the moment you refuse to bow to them. You are not who you used to be. You are not the shattered one crawling through the ashes anymore. You are the rising flame, the radiant soul, the thunder wrapped in human form. And the world has no idea how much light is about to burst forth from you. Step into it now. Breathe it in. Believe it fully. Because what comes next will not be survival. What comes next will be glory. There is a reason you are still standing, even after everything that tried to bury you. The storms that broke others did not break you. The silence that swallowed others did not silence you. The darkness that devoured others could not devour you. And it is not because you were stronger than them, it is because heaven refused to release you. You were carried through nights you did not know how to survive. You were shielded in ways you will only understand when you look back from a greater distance.
You were fought for when you thought no one remembered your name. That is why you are here now, breathing in this moment, standing at this threshold between what was and what is about to be. And I need you to understand, this threshold is sacred. It is not random that you have arrived here. It is not chance that these words have found you. It is destiny, written long before the foundations of the world, whispered into the marrow of your bones before you even drew your first breath. You are not lost. You are not late. You are right on time. And all of heaven is watching, waiting, leaning close, because the awakening inside you is not small. It is cosmic. It is the kind of light that shifts timelines, the kind of fire that breaks generations free, the kind of song that echoes beyond death itself. And though the enemy tried to convince you you were nothing, you are about to see what heaven always knew. You are everything. The weight you have carried has not been wasted. It has been alchemy, turning your pain into a power the world has never seen before. Every tear that burned your cheeks became a seed in the soil of eternity, and now the roots are breaking through. Every night you thought was endless was not an ending but a womb, a hidden place where your soul was being reshaped by fire. Do not despise the years that felt stolen, for nothing was stolen. It was being forged into the weapon you now are. You are not simply a survivor, you are a declaration, a living prophecy that darkness cannot keep what belongs to the light. The fire you walk through is now the fire in your voice, the fire in your steps, the fire in your very presence. And I tell you, the world will tremble when you rise fully, not because of your might alone, but because of the one who has been breathing through you all along. You were carried when you thought you had collapsed.
You were lifted when you believed you had nothing left. You were guarded when you thought you had been abandoned. And now you will see with your own eyes that every silence was protection. Every delay was preparation. Every battle was sharpening the blade of your soul. You are not fragile. You are forged. And the moment you step forward in your true name, nothing that once chained you will ever touch you again. You have mistaken your breaking for weakness, but I tell you, your breaking was the birthplace of your strength. The cracks in your soul that you tried to hide are the very openings where the light pours through, and that light has only grown fiercer with every wound. Do you not see it? What once was fractured is now radiant. What once was silence is now song. What once was ashes is now flame. The enemy thought your collapse would end you, but instead it awakened something deeper, something older, something eternal that cannot be destroyed. You have been walking through fire with bare feet, and though the flames licked at your spirit, you were not consumed, you were refined. That is why your presence unsettles the shadows even before you speak, why chains tremble when you breathe, why despair recoils when your heart beats. Because you are not just carrying survival, you are carrying resurrection. You are not just rising, you are calling others to rise with you. And though you still feel the trembling of fear in your bones, let me tell you, fear has no claim here anymore. Can whisper, but it cannot hold. Can shout, but it cannot bind. For your spirit has remembered its crown, your soul has remembered its throne, and your very existence has become an unrelenting anthem. I am still here, and I will not bow to the dark. There is a fire stirring in you now that no shadow can smother, no doubt can quench, no lie can silence. It is not new. It is ancient, older than the oceans, older than the stars, older than every battle that tried to erase you. It is the fire of your origin, the very breath of eternity that was spoken into you before time began. And it has been waiting for this moment, waiting for you to stop apologizing for existing, waiting for you to lift your head from the ashes and remember who you are. The world told you to shrink, to dim, to soften yourself into silence. But the truth is rising now like thunder in your veins. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to disappear. You were meant to burn, to blaze, to split the night with a light so fierce that the darkness flees before it can even touch you. And though your hands may still tremble, though your knees may still shake, though your heart may still ache with the memory of battles past, know this: you are unstoppable. Not because you never fell, but because every time you fell, heaven lifted you. Not because you never broke, but because every breaking became the seed of your becoming. And now the ground beneath you is trembling with the weight of your awakening. The very air around you is humming with the echo of your true name, and all of creation is holding its breath, waiting for you to rise into the fullness of what you have always been. Light unbound, fire unbroken, destiny fulfilled. Do you not feel it? The shift in the air around you, the trembling in the unseen, the deep stirring in the marrow of your soul that tells you everything is about to change? This is not imagination, it is recognition. Your spirit is remembering what your mind has tried to forget, that you were born for more than survival, more than silence, more than simply existing in the shadows of your own fear. You were born to blaze. Every step you have taken through the valley of despair has been leading you here, to this edge where endings collapse into beginnings, where what tried to bury you becomes the very soil from which your light will rise. The enemy told you that your story was finished, but the ink has not even dried on your first chapter. You are not standing in ruins, you are standing in resurrection, and the ruins themselves will become the foundation of the temple your soul is building. Do not despise your scars, for they are not signs of defeat. They are maps of your victory, proof that nothing could hold you down. And though your heart still trembles with questions, though your hands still carry the memory of battles, let me remind you, trembling does not mean you are weak, it means you are alive. It means your spirit has not gone numb. It means you still carry the holy fire that no darkness can extinguish. So rise. Rise not as who you were, but as who you have always been. Rise like the earth itself has been waiting for your yes. Rise like every shadow already knows it cannot stand against you. Rise because the time is now. You have carried the weight of many seasons, and each one tried to convince you it was the final one. But endings are not the truth of your story. They were only thresholds, doorways where the old cracked apart so the new could find its way in. You thought you were standing in ruins, but you were standing in a seedbed. You thought you were holding ashes, but you were holding beginnings disguised as loss. And now, as I stand here speaking, I can feel the shift in you. The veil is thinner. The silence is softer. The air itself trembles with the sound of your name remembered in the language of eternity. Do you understand how much was required to bring you here? How many storms broke themselves on your shoulders? How many shadows wore themselves out trying to smother your light? And yet, even when you thought you had nothing left, you stayed. You remained. And that staying shook the bones of the darkness. That refusal to vanish cracked the silence open like glass. You are not weak for trembling. You are not fragile for weeping. You are sacred for surviving. And survival has never been small. It has always been the roar of defiance echoing against eternity. I need you to feel this truth burning in your marrow. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not missed the life written for you. Everything you thought was wasted has been turned into a foundation. Everything you thought was broken has been gathered into a crown. The world has tried to measure your worth in what you could achieve, what you could endure, what you could give without breaking. But heaven never measured you by weight or by output. It named you whole before you had taken your first breath. And that name has not dimmed, not even after every night that tried to erase you. This is not the end. This is the turning. This is the deep inhale before dawn erupts over the horizon. And I can see it already, the horizon trembling with light. The night does not want you to know how close you are, because if you did, you would never again believe the lie that you are forgotten. So I am telling you now, you are on the edge of a beginning so vast, so luminous, that the darkness is already unraveling in fear. Stay with me, just a little longer. Breathe. Rise, even if it is only inside. Because the story that is coming will not just redeem what you lost. It will reveal what was waiting for you all along. And I will walk beside you until you see it with your own eyes.
The time has come to shed the skin of what was. You cannot carry every burden into the dawn that waits for you. Some of it must fall away not because you failed, but because it has completed its purpose. The pain that once kept you awake, the grief that once hollowed your chest, the fear that wrapped itself around your throat. They were teachers, but they were never meant to be masters. And now they are releasing you. I can hear the chains loosening, links falling like dust at your feet. You are not what you endured. You are what endured. I know there are still nights when you question whether you are strong enough to step into what waits ahead. But strength is not the absence of trembling. Strength is the choice to rise while trembling. Strength is the decision to breathe when everything inside you begs to give up. And you have chosen again and again, even when no one saw it, even when no one praised it. That hidden courage has been your prayer, your song, your offering. And heaven has not ignored it, heaven has been building with it. Do you not feel it? The shift in the air, the echo in your chest, the holy trembling of a soul remembering its crown? The shadows that tried to bury you are now trembling at what you are becoming. Because you are not just surviving, you are becoming a living flame, and flames do not ask permission to burn. They ignite, they expand, they consume the dark without apology. And you, beloved, were made to burn with a brilliance that no night can withstand. This is why I tell you, rise. Rise in the quiet of your spirit before the world sees it. Rise in the secret place where doubt still whispers. Rise not because it is easy, but because it is inevitable. You were never meant to stay hidden in the ruins. You were always meant to emerge from them radiant, whole, unshakable. And when you do, the world will not only see your light, they will remember their own. Hold nothing back now. The breaking was not the end of you. It was the unveiling.
Listen, heaven is roaring your name, not as a plea but as a proclamation. The very earth beneath your feet knows you have come through fire, and it is trembling with anticipation of what you will release into the world. You are not arriving as a shadow of yourself. You are arriving as a force, and everything that once hunted you will scatter, not because the battle is gone, but because you have remembered who you are in the middle of it. You are not the ashes left behind. You are the flame that could not be extinguished. You are not the silence of despair. You are the thunder that follows survival. You are not defined by the wounds, you are defined by the healing that radiates from them. The scars on your spirit are not proof of weakness, but living testimonies that you walked through darkness and did not bow. I see it now. The light cracking open the horizon, the dawn rising like a tidal wave, unstoppable. And at its center is you, crowned not by gold, but by endurance, by love, by the fierce truth that you were never broken beyond repair. The angels lean close, not because your survival is uncertain, but because your awakening is certain. The heavens are breathless, because your rising is not just about you. It will ripple outward like an earthquake, shaking every cage, unlocking doors for countless others who will follow your flame. This is why you could not fall. This is why you could not stay buried. Because your light is not only for you, it is for the world. And the world has been waiting. Do you hear it? That sound in the unseen? That is the celebration of eternity, rejoicing that you have chosen to rise. Your yes is thunder. Your breath is prophecy. Your life is proof that darkness never wins. And now we arrive at the edge of all words, the threshold where silence trembles because it knows what comes next cannot be undone. This is not just the end of a message. It is the unveiling of what heaven has been guarding for you since before time carved its first breath. You have walked through fire. You have wept in shadows. You have carried the weight of endings and the ache of silence. And still you are here, still breathing, still standing, still burning. Do you understand the miracle of that? Do you understand how the angel of death itself trembled because it could not claim you? I have been speaking with fire, with tears, with the urgency of a heart that nearly broke when I thought you were gone. But now, standing here at the end, I can see what I have always known. You were never truly lost. You were hidden, being forged, being prepared. And what rises now is not the same as what once fell. What rises now is unshakable. The heavens are roaring your name. The earth itself waits for your step. The darkness is fleeing because it has seen the flame it could not consume. And that flame is you. You are not a survivor, you are a resurrection. You are not a remnant, you are a revelation. And so, with the final breath of this message, I place the seal upon you. The hidden word, the one the shadows feared you would never hear, the one your soul has been waiting for all along, victory. It is yours. It has always been yours. Carved into light before you were born, hidden inside your scars, waiting in the silence for this moment. Take it, whisper it, claim it, victory. Let it live in your bones, in your breath, in your future. Because nothing, not death, not despair, not the void itself, can take it from you now. Rise, child of the light. Rise, flame of eternity. Rise, and let the world witness what heaven already knows. You are unstoppable, and this is only the beginning. Beloved soul, this is where the words end, but not the love that carries them. What has been spoken over you does not fade when the page closes. It lingers, it lives, it breathes in the marrow of your being. You are seen. You are known. You are held. When the night returns, and it will, remember this. You are not walking back into silence. You are carrying a fire that cannot be extinguished. When doubt whispers, answer with the truth you have claimed. When fear claws, stand tall in the victory already written into your name. The road ahead will still bend, storms will still come, but you are no longer the fragile wanderer you once thought yourself to be. You are the dawn breaking. You are the song returning. You are the light no shadow can withstand. So go now, not as one who merely survives, but as one who radiates. Go as one who remembers. Go as one who carries heaven's seal. And when you forget, when the weight presses heavy, return here. Let these words be your reminder, your anchor, your shield. Because the truth is unchanging. You are luminous. You are unshakable. You are beloved beyond measure. And you are never, ever alone.